Hello, hello. This is my Papa Dog rock that I found a couple of years ago in the dunes. It is a wonderful, wonderful rock. It's almost like a heart shaped and just gorgeous, gorgeous energy. Has a little bit of the color of the Papa Dog. It looks more green in the video than it is. But it's an amazing formation, absolutely gorgeous. And I just want to make a brief video and a calming video, and I want to talk about gratitude because last night I was depressed and I had something that I wanted to talk about, in regards to existence. Then I woke up with some more thoughts on it. And then as the day progressed, I realized I have it very good. I cried earlier because Paul is very, he uses double standard a lot, something that he does that is very unpleasant. And then if someone else does it just in a different form, it's not okay. It's forbidden. But if he does it, so that's double standard, a lot of accusation, a lot of insinuation, a lot of blame, a lot of angry shouting and nagging, and it's not cool. So that's his state of mind, and he's not happy and he is struggling, and so I have to understand his side of, it's not easy for him. He's getting older and very hard at hearing, and it's not, lots of fear connected to it. And I understand all of this. But on the other side, the other person also has needs and has the right to not be putting up with extremely loud TV or internet or phone messages or whatever that's like blasting. So it, I personally, and that's what I also wanted to talk about last night. I was thinking about this, that I wanted to talk about this in my videos, that I am in deep need to live in some kind of complete, like a sanatorium, but not in the old-fashioned sense. So sort of like a Buddhist retreat sanatorium, where we can become sane. That's why it's called sanatorium. So mental sanitation. So where the loud sounds can be all screened out and we can live in a paradise, basically. That's what I want to accomplish for the world. Live in a paradise where we don't have extremely loud sounds or loud shouting or voices or excitement, over excitement, and all this, what I see the young male human puppies do, with their impressing each other with their excitement noises they make, and out of, it's nice that they're excited. I just don't like to be around people who do just a lot of shouting out of fun, and all this fun kind of loudness and party loudness and all of this. That is not the kind of lifestyle that I want to live. I want to live a sanatorium, Buddhist retreat sanatorium type of lifestyle with total health and sobriety and meditation and yoga and long walks. Cesar Millan, he takes how many different, like 19 different animal species on hikes, on very long hikes every day. Llamas, dogs, ponies, ducks, emu birds. It's amazing. That's emu bird. It takes all of those and a parrot, a red parrot. That parrot has such a serious facial expression and is so sweet and peaceful. A female red parrot. She's on his shoulder and just very patient. And when there's chaos going around her, sometimes she's on the ground walking. And then there are Pomeranians coming around and playful and lots of playfulness of dogs and other animals, and the parrot keeps that serious facial expression. Very mature, very old soul, and loves all the other animals, looks over them, looks, like makes sure everyone is safe. And it's just wonderful. What an amazing energy he has on his very, very, very large estate, where they can go for miles and miles, go for walks. And it's just wonderful to see this, That's what I envision, this happiness, this being back completely connected with nature, with trees, with the landscape, with the ocean, with hot springs, with ponds and lakes and rivers and waterfalls and all the plants and orchids and rhododendron and azaleas and roses. My roses, they're getting ready to open up their flower now. I am so touched by this and so excited. They took a lot of beating because the deer had been eating on them, and then there was this non-stop rain for a while, and they got some black spots on the leaves it was a little bit too much water, too much stress, then there's mold that can grow, and there was some kind of mildew. Then I sprinkled them with diatomaceous earth, and that helped. Then Paul pulled out all the other plants that were growing around it, like milk thistles and lots of other plants that are all good, beneficial for us. Never poison this, ever, 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 ever. Never use poisons. Never use pesticides. Never use herbicides. Very important. This is probably the most important message for the world. So pull that other stuff out by hand, make tea with it, and water everything, and so that the roses can have lots of nutrients and water, so that they're not overshadowed by other plants. And you put a chicken wire around them so that the other animals can't eat them. The ground animals, they don't seem to be interested in rose roots, but they will get to the vegetable roots. That's why if you're growing vegetables, you have to grow them in large buckets. You have to put at least 4 holes. You drill 4 holes underneath, okay, and you put them into a little retainer bucket, so that if you pour water into them, so that the nutrient water doesn't get leached and washed out, so it stays in the retainer bucket. And then when the top surface layer starts to get drier, then the soil in the bucket will soak up the water again from the retainer with the nutrients in it. So that's also very important. Very important to do natural gardening. Then there's no need for any kind of toxic material at all. There's no need for fertilizers or nitrates or something like this. So it's all very, very simplistic, really. It's a natural life cycle. That's what Rudolf Steiner has offered to us. And he's spoken very loud and clear around the turn of the century, around 1900. People weren't listening to him. He already foresaw what was going to be coming. You know, the mass market agriculture with all of their tweaking substances and so on. And he said, don't do it. Listen to nature. Don't poison anything. It's very important. Nature already knows how to do all of this by itself. So important. So I was, once in a while I feel sorry for myself. Then I watch my videos, I feel even more sorry for myself because I feel a little embarrassed about my videos. But I think that the message still outweighs the embarrassment factor. So, I feel embarrassed about my hormones. I shouldn't. So I don't have shame about it because I don't think one should feel shame about this. But it's a bit of an embarrassment because we have been drilled our entire lives. Everyone almost has been drilled with this, you know, with this false idea that the human stands above other species in this type of way, that our animalistic behavior is supposed to be concealed, it's supposed to be hidden. And then if someone does show it, they get shamed, they get called whore or gold digger or this or that. So, and that's wrong. That's absolutely, totally wrong. Let people do what they want to do. If they're not hurting anyone, okay. As long as people don't hurt anyone, as long as no one is being stepped on physically and also emotionally, you know. But then there comes also a point where some people, they will claim to be stepped on when they were not stepped on. So that's when that is no longer the person's problem who is viewed as the perpetrator. If someone says something innocently and that happened to step on someone else, so that's not that person's problem anymore. Then I cannot be completely censoring myself and walk around the landmines of emotional bombs that are set everywhere, walking on eggshells, So that's where that term comes from, where we have to tippy-toe around someone else just to make sure we prevent the other person from having an emotional meltdown or something. So no, that goes too far. That goes. But if we are conscious, it is a tricky thing. It is a very tricky thing. So I don't know. Different people have different thresholds. So when I see someone is very sensitive to something, I do avoid that. I like to not to I never want to hurt someone ever, but there comes a point where I have to also just be myself, and I cannot constantly be thinking like 10 chess moves ahead in what could potentially make someone else feel psychologically hurt, and particularly what could trigger someone's ego. So that's why I say each person has to work on their own egos so that they are just there, so that they are not being triggered all the time by all kinds of things. So and then the ego can really take it to extremes, and the copyright infringement law is just one of these examples. That's like, it takes it too far. It takes it way too far. And then there was this guy Aaron Schwartz, and he was real close to a lawsuit which he would have won, and they murdered him and made it look like suicide just a few days before that trial started. And it would have been massive because he would have completely overturned the copyright infringement laws. And they murdered him because the corporate agenda profits again from this copyright infringement law, because everyone wants to claim something for themselves. It goes so far that Elon Musk he had I don't know what it was, some kind of device that he developed, and he called it something that it was just a logical name, a common name, like, vacuum cleaner or something, or leaf blower, electric leaf blower, for example. I think that's what the name was. That's not a very artistic name. That's not an unusual artistic name. Like that's not an artistic name like Disney World or something, where someone else could say, oh, that Disney World, I'm going to use that word for my book, and then Disney World will go, oh, you stole that name from us. Okay, that already I find goes too far, but okay, I'll give that to them. But for someone to, and that whole thing is just fraudulent anyway. And he didn't succeed. That guy that made a lawsuit against Elon Musk, that guy didn't win with this. I mean, it's just, that'd be retarded if a judge would give in to this. But that's what I mean by copyright infringement, and we have these kind of things also in the emotional world, those kind of things going on. It just goes too far. It just simply goes too far. So then I realized I am infinitely grateful for the things that are amazing, for the things that are given to me, that come to me, like finding a rock like this, like finding good friends, like finding your ideal dog. That's a present from the infinite cosmos. And we need to practice this deep, infinite gratitude. Everyone can practice this. If you practice this, you come out of that mind state of feeling victimized or jealous, or feeling ignored, or feeling like someone else has more or whatever. Some people are jealous of someone else's mind state. Okay. And that Shane Dawson talked about that. How some people are jealous of someone else's mind state. And they go oh, he has that mind state and I want to have that mind state, and and then they feel victimized that they don't have that same mind state. You see how far this can go emotionally with the entitlement. Or whatever, when someone has success like Jeffree Star, and other people get jealous, and then they become verbally abusive because they feel entitled and they feel like they should have that much success. But there's a reason why he has that much success, because he has a lot to say to the world, and he teaches gratitude. When you have gratitude, this is the foundation of success. Napoleon Hill talked about this. Like in the 1800s, all the successful people picked up from that train of thought. So Esther Hicks, Tony Robbins, and many other people picked up from that train of thought of gardening your mind state, cultivating your mind state of gratitude and mindfulness. We can feel sorry for ourselves sometimes, and then we can cry, and we can also, it's very important to stand up for ourselves. I stand up to Paul. I don't do it with anger anymore. I used to with anger. That doesn't go very far. That just causes more misunderstanding and more defensiveness on both sides. So you stand up and you say, the way you treated me is not okay. And that's all you need to say. And you can cry while you say it, because you might be agitated. But don't lash it out. Don't let it out in violence. Then you can cry about it for a while. You can sit with it. You don't run away with it. You don't pack on some other information on top of it to drown it out. No, you sit down with it. You accept what is happening right now. I'm feeling sorry for myself. Okay, there's nothing wrong with it. I can also feel jealous. I can feel all kinds of things. I can even feel entitled and think, oh, wouldn't it be nice if I, and then, thinking about future possibilities. And I can even feel like, oh, I'm crying that I don't have this. In meditation, in that moment you're in this therapy process. You can do that. But don't run away from it. Don't rationalize it away. Don't take that mind state into your daily life and into your communication with others. So you have to always know that is the state of mind that I'm working on right now in my own personal therapy session with the tablet, or you sit on a chair, or you sit on a yoga mat and you listen to nature and you go into yourself with that and you allow everything that's there. Let it flow through you with your breathing, deep breathing through your abdomen. Hold your breath, let the shoulders drop as they can, You can't force it to drop, but let it. And as Adyashanti always said, we cannot repress our tension. So if we're in a state of resistance, let's always remind ourselves of not resist even the state of resistance. So, and that's the art of meditation. Breathe with it and flow with it. And if we're tense, that's how we are. We're tense in that moment. Could have fearful thoughts or whatever. And let it be. And when you let it be, it will talk to you. And don't be afraid of that so-called ghost that will come up from the inside, because that is what we have to listen to in order to have a clear mind and in order to understand our bodies and all the other animals and humans that are around us, and all the beings around us, all the trees. Everything is energy. Everything is in a very wonderful and vibrant, energetic state. The trees, and they love it out there, and we need to send all of them love. Don't cut the trees down. Don't poison anything anymore. Very important. And practice the gratitude. You can cry, but practice the gratitude. Come back to the gratitude. It's very important. You can also have an imaginative conversation with someone who is not here, someone who might not be in the physical anymore. It doesn't matter. You can create an imaginary friend even, and talk to that being. I used to talk to opossums in LA. That's what I used to do. I met a lot of opossums. One time I would always be walking. It felt good to walk long distances because I had to, so it was a necessity. And I liked it. And sometimes there would be an opossum during the day walking right beside me on a wall. And I would walk together with that opossum walking next to me. and they can feel the energy. They can feel my energy. They can feel that they can relate. They feel kind of bummed out themselves, homeless in LA. And I wasn't homeless, I had an apartment, but they could relate to me because they could feel my energy of, I have so many wishes, and just like the opossum, so many wishes, but so much isolation, really. And it's sort of like an energetic state of fatalism, of giving into that what is. I walked there, and so they felt this. They felt the love for me, and they felt the fatalism, which was a state of sadness, where the energy is kind of like goes into a delta wave, where not spiked up or anything, like the opposite of caffeinated. And I also don't drink coffee. I haven't been drinking coffee for a very, very long time. I quit all of this. So Paul has offered me coffee just about a week ago, a few times, and it tastes so incredibly good. And I drank it, but then I felt like it wired me up again in a very bad way. It wires you up in a very artificial way, and you can't even think clearly when you are wired up with coffee. The only way I can think really clearly is if I really go into the meditation of whatever is there. Whatever is there, not acted out. If it's anger even, that's hard, but whatever is there, I feel it, it's there, and I let it speak to me as long as it wants to. And it will tell me stories. So I gotta go. You guys take care.